it was clearly about a relationship, but I suddenly popped into my head, and I can't remember most of the lyrics you said, but at the time, I thought it may be something to do with his relationship with creativity. That kind
Mm.
of lets him down. It comes and it goes. It sort of, if you rely on it, it pisses in your face. Hey, everyone, and welcome to another edition of That's Audiophiles. My name's John. His name is Andy. Take a little walk to the edge of town and go across the tracks, where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it shifts and cracks, where secrets lie in the border fires, in the humming wires. Hey man, you know you're never coming back past the square, past the bridge, past the mills, past the stacks. More on that later. But first, we have a song to listen to, which has been selected by Andy. Andy, what have you got for the class?
First of all, just a quick note, and I don't want to play spoiler here, but I was watching some of the show that song is affiliated with last night, introducing my better half to that, and she is a Chicana from LA, and we got about two sentences into the opening dialogue of the first episode, and boy, did those subtitles come on fast. she was she was just struggling with the early 20th century Brummy accent mightily. So yeah, I read most of the first two episodes last night with her.
So many, many, many years ago, I used to pile into our living room. I would have been, I don't know, 14, 15, something like that, and watch the omnibus edition on a Sunday of EastEnders, the British soap. And it used to be on sort of early afternoon, sort of, and then the rest of my family would pile in and sit down and start talking to each other. And so I started watching that with subtitles, and it just stuck. And so now I watch virtually every program with
Yeah.
subtitles, all the time, whether it's in English or another language. And I have to say, for the first at least one, if not two episodes of The Wire, it came in really handy as well because,
Yeah.
and it's bizarre because having watched it, it's totally nature to me
Yeah.
now. But very first viewing is like, I'm fucking struggling here. I can't believe it because it's just so funny. It was
Yeah.
just enough off to just distract, and then wham, subtitles on. Yeah, not a problem.
And who would have
Uh,
known, hon, that it would have prepared you for this whole thing that we're doing together? You'd be able to hear me just fine with my Baltimore accent. You know what I mean? So here's the wire, and you checking it out because it's paying off now. Yeah, the Baltimore accent is among the worst, and I have to work. My whole adult life, I've worked to kind of edge it out of my vernacular. So, yeah, I shouldn't be one to throw stones, but yeah, she was having a hell of a time with that, but it was funny, it made me laugh. And then you started with a great song, by the way. But here's to this song. I want you to go check out another tune by an artist that we checked out on this channel towards the latter part of 23, I think. An artist named Joe P. You watched
mm,
a live performance of Color
yeah,
TV.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was off his second EP, French Blonde. This is going to be a song from his first EP. And the song is titled Leaves.
Eat shoots and leaves. Okay. Um, okay, I will check out leaves and come back and report my findings.
Yes, excellent. Thank you.
You ask me what I'm thinking as I sink into the void, but I
Okay, good beginning. I really like that weird sort of low tempo siren. And then it kicks into this pounding beat with the guitars as well. Sounds great. I'm really digging the vintage sports footage as well. That's cool. Um, but this shot of him here, it just looked like somebody who's in the corner of a function somewhere, just doing their own little film while the main event's going on somewhere else. That's just a weird spot to put him in there with this. Yeah, it looks odd. But anyway, it sounds good so far.
And all the bombs you swore you wouldn't drop, and all the love you swore would never stop. I guess it's just your way of saying your goodbye. The sun is up, but you're not shining. I let you in, I love to lose. I wash my hands with dirty water. I never should, but I always do. The sun is out, but you're not shining. I let you in, I love to lose. I wash my hands with dirty water. I never should, but I always do. Rhyming all my words, but now I'm out of things to say. Everything for you, but you don't listen anyway. I bet it's nice to breathe. Got every year like the sun is out, but you're not shining. I let you in, I love to lose. I wash my hands with dirty water. I never should, but I always do. The sun is out, but you're not shining. I let you in, I love to lose. I wash my hands with dirty water. I never should, but I always do.
Look at these noises. So the drumming on this is really cool. I like the bit it was going tick, 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 tick. And I like that breakdown when the last was doing the beam and those guitar noises. They're really sort of s- nicely strange compared to the rest of the song. And I dig shit like that all the time. Backing vocals, giving it the oohs and ahs and sweeping it up. And then just like about 30 seconds ago, you were getting these odd single note sort of synth chimes. It's almost like throwing coins into the water. Plink, plonk, plink. Yeah, it's cool. I like this. Yeah, that was all right. I enjoyed that. Nice energy to it. The guitars at the start were great, and then you've got other little layered bits of guitars. There was a really nice bit sort of halfway through, where you just had the guitar on the right channel, just coming in very quietly. Um, Backing vocals sort of lifted and soared it. Yeah, overall, this is fairly good. Fairly good. I think what I enjoyed more in the last video of theirs was seeing the live performance. I think the guy standing in this corner, but did really, and waving his floppy hair around didn't really capture my imagination. I like the other footage though. Um, but yeah, overall this was all right. Okay, let's go back to Andy and find out some more.
All right, so you've returned. This is now your second listen of some of Joe P's material. What did you make of Leaves? How does it hold up compared to color TV? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I really liked there's an immediacy to it. Obviously, straight away, immediacy. But I really like the opening, that sort of slowed down siren quality of the guitar with the, I will call it for the moment, clicky percussion. Um, he sings a few lines and then the big sounding guitar bursts in through the doors. Just a quick word about the video itself. I really liked the vintage sports footage. I'm not sure how it relates to the song, but visually it was fun and really well timed and edited to the track.
Mm-hmm.
All female competitors for a reason? Question mark.
Yeah.
So, but the footage of him in the corner, wafting his floppy hair, didn't do him any favors. The backdrop behind him looked shoddy and very like a secondary area. I think I've seen the reaction. It's like somebody in the corner of an event. You know, it made me think of like politicians who say they're going to speak at a major event or conference, but actually they set up their porter podium like in the lobby or in the back of the dining hall just so they can say they were there.
Yeah.
I'll say I can't remember if you said before whether this is a solo project where he is joined by other musicians when he's performing, but it felt a little diminished because it was just him. I get that. It's just because of my previous experience. If I hadn't seen the first one, it wouldn't. But I almost, and I stress the word almost, missed the yellow sunglasses. It was much better later on when he was arsing about in the basketball court. You know, I felt better for him then. Because you know, anyway, back to the song. So I really enjoy the pounding guitar and the pounding drums. Actually, the drums are really interesting, and I labeled percussion and drums all as to one thing.
Yeah.
And there was like there was additional sounds from the toms and perhaps the rims, or even hitting their own sticks or something. It was that woodeny, sticky sound.
Click.
Yes. It could almost be two drummers. It was definitely panned across both channels. And I thought, and it's just maybe me, but I thought they were just a microscopic tad out of sync, just tiny amount. And sometimes they do that deliberately to sort of echo or emphasize sound.
Yeah, like a shadow effect or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It was really nice. It's not exactly Burundi drums, but you know, which is the ultimate for me. But I'm loving the overall effect. And then his vocals kind of just skitter over the top of the track, all sort of swoon and stretched. We get a pre-chorus where the guitar drops out, just leaving that ooh, ooh. And we can clearly hear the stick work really well then of the drummer, stroke percussionist, stroke caveman. And it sounds really good. He mentions washing his hands with dirty water, and then back comes the guitar. And I reckon that it's either double or maybe even treble tracked vocals, but it's definitely got that sort of volume to it in terms of mass. And he keeps singing, "The sun is out, but you're not shining," and there's more dirty water. And though he admits he shouldn't, he always does, with a visible and almost musical shrug as well, which is quite nice. I like that. Then we get the siren again and his swirling voice. And I think at that point, it's the first time I've genuinely noticed the bass, who sounds like it's limbering up. to compete with the athletes in the video. It's just really nice sound there. And it really builds then. Back comes the stick work and the rising backing vocals as well. The choruses sounds much bigger this time around. I don't know if it's just because of the juxtaposition, if it really is bigger or not, but it sounds bigger, which is and obviously the intention. And then we get the addition of some vocalizing, the sort of oohs and ahs that hold for a few beats. And then we break down to this really interesting, I'll call it squalling section. So the guitar sort of squeals and then it's not like a high squeal. It's more like a a sort of I fucking hate physiotherapy sort of squeal, and then it moans like has it just blown an ACL or something? I don't know, but it's all perfectly timed to the footage of the young lass on the beam somersaulting and just hitting a landing.
Yeah.
That's just a lovely section where the marriage of audio and visual is just spot on. Whoever did that, great job. We get a slower tempo groove now. It feels like someone's stirring from slumber, and he matches the tempo with his vocals. And I also loved at this point, there's these occasional single notes from a sort of synthy stroke piano fuckery thing going on. And it sounded like coins being plopped into a fountain. I really like that. Again, there's more sustained notes and the vocals carry on. And then it leads us to a nice little squealy feedback finish, which we said many times before. I love. So there's a really good energy to this. It's great guitars, really great drums and percussion, probably the star for me. It didn't bowl me over, but I really enjoyed it. I think I didn't enjoy it as much as Color TV with his post-apocalyptic murder scenario or whatever you thought it meant. But this wasn't so much like I didn't get the Radiohead vibes, which I got from the first one. But there's definitely he's got something, there's something there. And you're never gonna I'm never gonna love every track that somebody does, but there's enough there of interest thing. I like this guy and I'm interested to see what else he does.
Yeah. I'm becoming more and more a big fan of his, and he's coming out with more material, sort of like song by song, until probably he has enough to complete his next his next release, which will probably be his first full length album. We'll see when that happens, but I've heard at least 3 tracks that have come out subsequent to French Blonde, his last actual release. So he's clearly making and releasing new stuff, and he's touring. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, he's interesting stuff. I've always, to varying degrees, really liked his music that I've heard so far.
Sorry, I made to say it wasn't in my notes because you just mentioned it. But so this predates the track I heard before, and that doesn't surprise me because I can tell the difference in development between one to the next.
Yeah.
But it's all good stuff.
Yes, exactly. So, Joe P is an indie alternative artist from New Jersey. We previously covered his track Color TV, as we mentioned. So please feel free to go check that out. There's a little bit more about him in there that we won't, recanvas in this episode. But if you want to check it out, I'll put the link below, and I'll probably create a playlist at some point down the road. There's another couple tracks of his I'd like to bring out in the future. But yeah, the onset of COVID saw the dissolution of the band that he had been in since he was in 8th grade. We talked about them on the last episode. They're called Dio Casino. And then Joe P found himself in isolation and with plenty of time to experiment with music on his own. And he did just that by throwing himself into writing, workshopping, recording, and producing his own very personal material that he released. I guess this being his first EP. And as he posted his works and projects on social media, he began to see millions of views rack up, and his online presence would accrue over 300,000 followers in just a couple months after he started to release this early material. And among his newly found legion of followers was one Zane Lowe of Apple Music, who kicked Joe's career into hyperdrive and helped him land a deal with Atlantic Records. And shortly after that deal came Joe P's debut EP entitled Emily Can't Sing, which was released in October of 21. The EP only further propelled his success with acclaimed singles like Leaves, Fighting in the Car, and Off My Mind. And Off My Mind was probably the biggest hit, or close to the biggest hit, off of that debut EP. 1 year after the release of Emily Can't Sing, he released his second EP, which we alluded to earlier, called French Blonde, on which is featured the aforementioned Color TV. In late 2023 and now early 24, Joe P has released singles here and there. Don't Want to Love You, Shadows in the Sun, and Glass House are among those. I really want to bring Glass House. I'm waiting for a version that we can use to appear on YouTube, and we will be diving into that one. And yeah, all those releases, like I said earlier, kind of suggest that there's probably going to be some sort of album or EP released in the future. Funny enough, in a recent interview for an article with Backward Noise, he tells the author Sonia Neems, I was working on an album right before the tour, but then I had to put it on halt because I had to leave, and I'm halfway through it, I would say. So depending on how quickly he can get back to it after the tour is probably when we're going to see it. He is currently wrapping up some shows in the United States and is about to embark on his first tour of Ireland and UK in the May of this year. So if you have any interest at all in Joe P and you want to go see him, he may be coming to a town near you, or at least a town near half our audience. Probably over half our audience, to be fair. And of this track, L. Taylor Edzema of the Aquarian writes, Leaves is the opening track to Joe's debut album. It is snarky, driving, rocking tune with guitar friction and drums that really shine. And I think you would agree with that last part in particular.
Yeah.
Let's dive into these lyrics. You ask me what I'm thinking as I sink into the floor, but I don't think I really want to be here anymore. Not anymore. Oh no, hold my breath for one more year, just waiting here for you, staring at the door until my face is turning blue. Yeah, and all the bombs you swore you wouldn't drop, and all the love you swore would never stop. I guess it's just your way of saying your goodbye. The sun is up, but you're not shining. I let you in. I love to lose. I wash my hands with dirty water. I never should, but I always do. The sun is up, but you're not shining. I let you in. I love to lose. I wash my hands with dirty water. I never should, but I always do. Oh, rhyming all my words, but now I'm out of things to say. Wrote everything for you, but you don't listen anyway. I bet it's nice to breathe, die every year like leaves. Oh, the sun is up, but you're not shining. I let you in. I love to lose. I wash my hands with dirty water. I never should, but I always do. The sun is up, but you're not shining. I let you in. I love to lose. I wash my hands with dirty water. I never should, but I always do. Joe, calm down. Joe, calm down. Our colors change. We dry out just the same. Our colors change. We dry out just the same. And before we dive into another quote from an article about this song, you talked about like the cinematography and the depictions and like is there symbolism here? One thing, well, a couple things. One, I couldn't help but if you think about the relationship dynamics that were just discussed in the song, it seems to me that he kind of sets himself up in this Charlie Brown situation. And I don't know if this is going to hit with you because Charlie Brown is very much an American thing, but there's always this reoccurring theme in the Charlie Brown comic strip where he's holding the football or Lucy's holding the football for him and she yokes it. Yeah. So these sports being dominated by females, and then him fucking around in a court, you know, on a basketball court in some local, you know, municipalities like, you know, rec center or something. I don't know. It just made me think of that. It made me think of him always going back to her and her yoking the football out from under him. And I'm sorry, go on. It's clear you've got a thought.
Yeah, it's just really odd, and I can't explain why. But as you were reading the lyrics, it was clearly about a relationship, but I suddenly popped into my head, and I can't remember most of the lyrics you said, but at the time, I thought it may be something to do with his relationship with creativity. That that kind of lets them down. It comes and it goes. It sort of, if you rely on it, it pisses in your face. And then again, these female things, almost like muses.
Yes.
So,
You know what? That's
I
interesting. There's no
don't
there's
know
no
why, but it just
evidence of
popped in
that,
my head.
but it would not surprise me if there is some sort of like if there's like a sort of double entendre thing happening here where it's like I'm talking about a relationship, but actually the writing process or the roadblocks therein can kind of be, or maybe I keep going to the same well for inspiration or something like that as well. Could easily be a dual meaning there. So I absolutely understand what you're saying. I do think that it's funny that I don't know the metaphor. There's no real evidence out there to say what it is or determine what it is, but also all these scenes of just women absolutely killing it at their chosen sport, and proof and evidence of their practice and dedication to the craft, and then him not dressed in attire to play basketball, like he's wearing like jeans and like a sweater and a shirt, and he just hucks up a half court shot and luckily makes it in. There's just an interesting juxtaposition there of like methodical training to achieve perfection in your sport and him just being like, fuck it, and making it. So I don't know.
But I did enjoy the fact he missed when he went backwards.
Yeah, we went backwards. Yeah, he's really too close to the sun on that one, Joe P.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting little quote from Jacqueline Gallison of WZLY, and she writes of the song, Leaves is surprisingly chipper for a song about losing the woman you love and struggling to cope. Joe could be best described as endearingly self-deprecating, both as a lyricist and as a person. And I think there's evidence of that in color TV, and there's evidence of that here as well. And there is evidence of that in his other tunes as well. I do find him to be an interesting lyricist. I like his songwriting as well. And you're right, it's just him. And I think the gentleman we saw on bass and the gentleman we saw on drums when we watched that live performance, I think kind of tour with him after he's recorded everything.
Yeah.
Pretty
Makes
sure
sense.
he does it all. So yeah, talented young musician out of the Mid-Atlantic here, and I've just always been intrigued to check him out. Thought I'd bring some more to the table, and I might do it again in the future. So thanks for giving this a listen, John. I appreciate it, man.
No, you're more than welcome. I enjoyed
Excellent. Excellent. Everybody out there in the listening audience, thank you too. We appreciate you stopping by here, giving this a listen. All 38 of you probably in total. No, I'm just kidding. We do really, really appreciate you coming by.
it. Show.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'm flying too close to the sun now. But yeah, all that said, we really do appreciate you guys. Feel free to drop comments down in the field, how you felt about the song, maybe some of the stuff it reminded you of other artists we need to check out and songs we need to check out. We're always interested to hear your guys' input, so please use the comment field. Also, if you're new here, please think about subscribing. And no matter if you're new or you've been here since day one, please like and share. It really helps with the algorithm, pushes out our material. Hopefully we can grow the community, get exposed to new and different music that we haven't heard before. That's kind of the idea here. We're trying to start a fire and learn some new music. All that out of the way, hopefully John and I will see everybody and more on the next installment of the Audiophiles. See you later, guys.